KEiR Starmer is fighting for his freedom. His career is dead. The only question left is whether Britain's Prime Minister ends up in the history books, or in a prison cell for the rest of his life. Explosive new evidence from the full unredacted Jeffrey Epstein files has him staring down multiple child rape charges that could lock him away for the rest of his life. The man already notorious as a paedophile protector is now being thrown under the bus by his own establishment. And it's happening fast. His close friend and ally Peter Mandelson is already heading to the dock. But they won't stop there. A tsunami of household names, top politicians in Britain, America and beyond, including sitting US senators and Congress members, are panicking as the walls close in. The elites are in full meltdown, and the dominoes are falling tonight. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. There's more than enough evidence to put Sir KEiR Starmer in prison for the rest of his life. This isn't speculation. This is a clear documented pattern of protecting predators and promoting paedophilia while British children were systematically destroyed. But here's what many people fail to understand. This was not a catastrophic failure. This was the machine working exactly as intended. While Starmer was Director of Public Prosecutions, Muslim grooming gangs were raping and trafficking girls across more than 150 districts in Britain. The scale was horrifying. Over 250,000 British girls abused with the full knowledge and complicity of police social services and Starmer's Crown Prosecution Service. Starmer knew what was happening. The reports were on his desk. The intelligence was there. So, what did he do? He sent out 13,000 warning letters to these psychopaths and paedophiles. Warning letters. That's it. No charges, no trials, no public executions. Just polite notes, asking monsters to please stop our children. We're definitely not angry enough. Girls as young as 5 and 6 were tied up and passed around. Babies were abused in front of their mothers. Cigarettes burned into their skin, then murdered. Young girls were set on fire. They were taken to red rooms, where they were tortured, sometimes murdered on live stream. Here is Rupert Lowe, British MP.
He put a cigarette out on the baby's face. Another. It started when I was 13. I was raped by probably about 600 or 700 different men over 3 years. Another. They would toot the horn of the car, and then a child would be taken to the front door by a staff member of the children's home. Another. I was bleeding from both my vagina and my back passage and was so swollen I could not sit down. I told hospital staff my drink had been spiked and I did not know what had happened because I was too afraid to tell the truth. They did not ask any questions. They gave me tablets and discharged me. I was 15 years old. Another. Things would escalate around Eid and holidays. Parties got bigger, got worse, got more violent. More people involved, more girls involved. The parties were just bigger. Another. The main clash that I kind of had with the religion side of it was I grew up as a Christian. I would wear my cross because it was something really special to me. It was just used as a way to break me down. They said, "Where is your God now? Has your God forsaken you?" Another. It was all of the white girls in every home that I went to. I remember a man opening the back of a van and I saw 15, 20 girls locked in dog cages.
One girl was by a dog while men placed bets. They forced abortions with knitting needles. They rammed glass bottles, keys and baseball bats the girls. They gang them in party houses by the dozen. They flogged them, hung them upside down, strangled them, on them. Some were branded with an M for Mohammed. Others were murdered and fed to pigs. And KEiR Starmer's response? Politely worded letters. This wasn't one rogue town. This was industrial-scale pedo horror enabled by the British state. One victim named Chloe disclosed to social services that she was being gang at the age of 13. Social services didn't intervene to help the child. They simply gave her some Meanwhile, Starmer's government throws citizens in jail for social media posts and mean tweets. Police are actively arresting native Britons for complaining after they are stabbed by immigrants while being left to bleed out on the street. There's a clear pattern here. Protect paedophiles, promote paedophiles, fraternise with paedophiles. Warning, the evidence is stomach-churning. Keir Starmer first rose through the system during the Jimmy Savile scandal. As a key figure on the Sentencing Council, he attended 21 meetings where they shaped guidelines for dealing with sex offenders. The result? Starmer decided not every paedophile needs to go to prison.
Before there was this guy, there was this guy, and he was knighted by the British royal family. His name was Jimmy Savile, and he was a television star on the BBC. And he was really close with Prince Charles, the current King of England. I mean, really close. Look at how young Prince Charles was when their relationship started.
Jimmy Savile, Britain's most prolific monster, walked free and continued his crimes, including the rape of hundreds of kids, many of whom were supplied to other elite paedophiles.
But after Savile died, we would learn that he was accused of over 500 sexual assaults. In one hospital alone, the hospital that he helped fund, he was accused of over 60 assaults. And his victims ranged from 5-year-old children to 75-year-old women. Boys, girls, children, adults, it didn't matter. He was a pure predator. And although Savile was doing this while at the BBC, he seemed to be protected by the culture of the company.
This wasn't incompetence, this was policy. The same globalist establishment that appointed Starmer to Director of Public Prosecutions, where he protected the predators, later installed him as Prime Minister, where he continued protecting the same networks. The pattern is unmistakable. Starmer didn't rise despite this record, he rose because of it. Britain wasn't broken by accident, it was broken by design. But now, something very interesting is happening. The people are rising up. The attention of the world is focused squarely on the crime scene. And Starmer is being thrown under the bus by the very cabal that elevated him.
Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. I have spoken to His Majesty the King this morning to inform him of my decision.
So what's really going on here? The globalists thought Starmer was the perfect choice. A man with enough skeletons of the darkest variety to ensure total loyalty to the system over the British people. But now the knives are coming out from inside the machine itself. Fresh evidence of a deeply personal nature is emerging. The compromising material, the dirt that made him a fully owned controlled asset, is starting to leak. We're talking about devastating information about Starmer from the Epstein files released. Information released by the Department of Justice that reveals Starmer profited from the child sex trade. And worse, credible reports of Starmer on Epstein Island, attending a ritual with King Charles. And, even worse, video evidence from European nations about Starmer's compromising material, and exactly what he had to do to climb the political ladder. Brooke Burke, yes, the fitness legend from Dancing with the Stars, hit 50 and got blindsided. Unexplained weight gain, muscle loss, and energy tanked. Sound familiar? The system is happy to let women waste their time and money following fad diets and big pharma fixes that absolutely don't work. Realising this, Brooke flipped the script. She found one simple thing, biohacking with a specific protein that made her leaner, stronger, and healthier than ever. At 53, her abs are tighter than over a decade ago. She calls it her secret weapon. And it's not some nasty pill or expensive scam. She's spilling all the secrets in a free video that recently went viral. Her method takes less than a minute a day and doesn't involve any insane diets. Want the truth? Visit tonyprotein.com/TPV. Links below. That's tonyprotein.com/TPV. Watch it now for the no bullshit truth about weight loss that Big Pharma absolutely doesn't want you to know about. Following his masterful cover-ups of the grooming gangs and elite paedophilia, including Jimmy Savile, Prince Andrew and others, Starmer was rewarded by the crown with a knighthood and selected by the globalist cabal to serve as British Prime Minister. Now, investigators say Starmer's problems run far deeper. Leaked Epstein files from his years at the CPS have surfaced, while he was being groomed for the top job by the global elite power structure. And here's the first explosive piece of evidence: a bombshell Epstein email released by the Department of Justice, written by one of the victims. In it, she directly accuses Keir Starmer of profiting from international sex trafficking and links him straight to former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. And it gets worse. You can go check it yourself on the DOJ website right now. We know it's legit, because they redacted the names of other powerful people the victim says participated in these crimes along Starmer. Ouch. That kind of redaction doesn't happen unless they're scared, and they're protecting somebody big. Terabytes of damning footage showing KEiR Starmer and other future world leaders on Epstein Island has surfaced according to investigators. And now, a whistleblower from the investigation to release the unredacted Epstein files describes what they have seen. He says they were testing Starmer, breaking his soul, ensuring his loyalty. Warning, this is explosive.
The public's been fed scraps, maybe 1% of the material so far, and even that's been butchered with redactions so heavy it might as well be blank paper. Perpetrators' names blacked out, locations protected, faces blurred. It's a joke. What's still locked up is a roadmap of how globalist power actually works. Little St. James Island wasn't just an elite pedophile ring, it was an initiation club, a way to take young rising elites, politicians, royalty, media stars, future heads of state, and turn them into owned assets. They were flown to a private island run by a billionaire fixer. They were told they were special, chosen, part of a future-shaping elite. Then, they were put through hell. The goal wasn't pleasure, it was compromised. Once you cross certain lines, once it's all on camera, you don't get to walk away anymore. Once you're on camera in a bedroom with kids, you do what you're told for the rest of your life. One of the groups in the files was a global leadership academy run by the World Economic Forum, the Young Global Leaders. On the surface, it's all speeches and climate panels. In the back rooms, it was a grooming operation. We have witness statements, we have flight logs, we have video. And yet, one of those young leaders later became Prime Minister of the UK. The footage tied to him is damning. Not rumors, not hearsay. Recorded, time-stamped, cataloged. We're talking about KEiR Starmer making awkward small talk with underage girls, getting a young trans kid, abusing clearly underage children in a room with Ed Miliband and Leo DiCaprio and others, while cameras capture every grimace. The scariest part? The sick fucker running the cameras. The Hollywood actor Kevin Spacey at the height of his fame. In the files, he shows up not as a guest, but as staff, traveling with the traffickers, setting up lights, checking angles, greeting world leaders like a butler in hell. He wasn't just watching, he was producing. Multiple cameras, clean audio, close-ups, wide shots, like he was shooting a depraved movie. That's why this stuff is buried. Because the people on those tapes aren't nobodies. They're presidents, prime ministers, Hollywood celebrities, finance lords. If it all came out, whole governments would fall.
Information about Starmer is coming out, and his government is falling. The masks are coming off. The Epstein files ended an era of elite impunity. As soon as the elites, including Starmer and Ehud Barak's names surfaced in the Epstein documents, the untouchable celebrities, the global elite entertainers, they didn't just fade, they collapsed, without any accountability whatsoever. Look at this split-screen evidence. Video 21 of 1000 in the Epstein archive. In the top of the frame, the predatory suited power group, the kind of men the mainstream media are still protecting. In the bottom of the frame, a terrified child on a couch, voice shaking, describing horrors no young person should ever know.
And what's happened at the end of the party?
My dad kills babies and he eats the meat.
Okay, well, let's just talk about the party though,
Yeah.
okay? So, the party, what was the party like?
I don't like the party.
Why not?
They touch me,
Who?
kick me, my front privates, they hurt me. So when they stick a big plaster in my bottom, and when it bleeds, if I cry, he like, do you know those spaghetti spoons? Those metal ones. If I cry, he hits me on the head with it.
Okay.
But if I cry more, he hits me again. But if I cry more, the nurse teacher, I'm smart, and she injects me, and I sleep an injection on my neck, and then I fell asleep.
Former UN official Carlene Georgescu took a different path. Then KEiR Starmer, Justin Trudeau, Emmanuel Macron, and the rest of the compromised globalist cabal. Georgescu publicly accused global elites of protecting and practicing paedophilia, warning that many world leaders are not chosen for their integrity, but for how easily they can be controlled. And what happened to him? He won Romania's presidential election, and they took it away. That tells you everything you need to know about how the system really works. This is why the elite are desperate to censor the masses and ban free speech platforms like X. They're terrified of the truth coming out, because the public will rise up and tear them from their ivory towers. One of the global elite's most powerful weapons is the VPN on your laptop or your phone right now. Industry leader Proton VPN is funded and controlled by the World Economic Forum, and Israel has bought up the rest of the most popular VPNs on the planet, including ExpressVPN, CyberGhost, and private internet access. Their leadership, packed with Israeli military intelligence veterans, the very people who built Israel's most powerful surveillance tools. We're talking about veterans of Unit 8200, Israel's NSA on steroids. We're also talking about the Dovdadin Unit, Israel's elite undercover death squad. Because we care about our viewers and this movement, we're revealing the first trustless VPN, VP.net, built so that even if it wanted to spy on you, it couldn't. Even if the feds come knocking, they'll walk away empty-handed. It's 100% American-owned, no Mossad backdoors, and no feds rifling through your DMs. Sign up today at vp.net/TPV, and you can finally stop asking who's monitoring me, because the answer is they were, but with vp.net, not anymore. Rejects the globalist agenda, rejects Israel first. Expel the spies hiding in your phone, in your apps, and in your devices.